Hi everyone, today I will tell you everything you need to know about the Ethereum 2.0 from the investor perspective. I will tell you why and how it is going to be delivered. I will talk about the staking and the staking rewards, about the one-way peg, how exchanges will get involved in staking Ethereum. I'll say about the benefits of staking on the exchanges, how the inflation will affect Ethereum, and then I will mention a few of my opinions about the whole state of things. As always, please like, comment and subscribe. Please look at the links below, which will save you some money. So why are we upgrading to Ethereum 2.0? It's to deliver the promise of staking and proof of stake, and to improve scaling via sharding. So there will be plenty of shards which will be independent of each other, and you can have pretty much unlimited amount of shards speaking to the beacon chain. How it's going to be rolled out? Now there will be three phases. 0, which is just a beacon chain with no functionality and no transactions. Shard chains, and there is no definite date. It will probably be the year following the launch of the beacon chain. And then there will be phase 1.0, where ETH1 and ETH2 will merge, and ETH1 will be one of the shards of Ethereum 2.0. And then phase 2 will be state execution, and you can do full transactions and everything. So the transactions will probably be available at phase 1.5, but not necessarily in phase 1. Important thing about the new Ethereum 2.0 is staking. The full Ethereum market cap is 100 and around 30 million Ethereum, and if everyone decided to stake, the staking reward would be 1.6% yearly benefit, but that's unlikely to happen. Realistically, within the first week or so, it will be between 10 and maybe 50 million of Ethereum staked. Well, probably within the first week it will be between maybe 5 and 20 million, but within a few weeks it will be maybe up to 50 million of Ethereum staked. So you can expect the inflation rate and the benefits of staking to be around somewhere between 2 and 5.7%, and it's difficult to make estimates, but my best guess is after a few weeks the benefits of staking will be around 3%. So Ethereum 1 will remain functional until the difficulty bomb gets triggered in a few years, and from then on the Ethereum 1 will be more and more difficult, and it will be impossible to execute on the Ethereum 1 chain. There will be one-way peg, so there is no coming back from Ethereum 2, and that means that if you have Ethereum 1, you can always go to Ethereum 2. But once you transfer to Ethereum 2, you get the benefit of being able to stake and get rewards, but you can never go back to Ethereum 1. And if you cannot transfer Ethereum 2 on the Ethereum 2 network, that means that you cannot sell your Ethereum. And some users will find that inconvenient. We'll get to the exchanges in just a moment. So it is pretty much inevitable that Ethereum 1 will be more valuable than Ethereum 2 as a separate token which has only one-way peg. And that's because you can transfer ETH1 to 2, but you cannot transfer ETH2 to 1. Now there will be Ethereum staking, which will be delivered by exchanges, and exchanges will be incentivized to do that because they will charge the stakers some of the fees. My guess will be is that BitMEX and Binance at least will let you stake, and they will take around 10 to 30% fee for doing that, depending on complexity of the procedure. But the hidden benefit of this is that you will be able to transact these ETH 2.0 if you have them with BitMEX and Binance. They will not be able to execute transactions and transfers on chain, but because the tokens belong to them and they have the private keys, the ownership of the token is just a ledger entry on their exchange, and they can just transfer the entry to another user. So you will be able to transact on the exchanges, but you will not be able to transact if you are a standalone staker and you have your own keys. Obviously there is benefit to owning your own keys, because not your keys, not your Bitcoin, and not your ETH. So if exchanges are not ready at the start of staking, then staking on your own can result in higher returns for the first few days, maybe even weeks. Because the more stakers there are, the smaller the rewards, as you can see from this graph. If only 16,000 of ETH stakes, the staker rewards will be 140% yearly, but this is unlikely to happen. There will be certainly way more than that within the first seconds, hours, or minutes. Minimum to stake is 32 ETH, but again, if you transfer to an exchange, it will probably not apply because it's just a ledger entry. If you stake on your own, you need to make sure everything is working fine. Staking is not just leaving these ETH lying around. These ETH are collateral for validating blocks, and you have to make correct votes, and your software needs to validate the correct transactions, and if you are not validating them correctly, you will be fined. You will lose some of your stake. If your machine goes offline or fizzles or validates something wrongly, you will also lose part of your stake. However, this validating software will not be very consuming in terms of the resources of the computer. One guy says he has run 1,000 validators, which is worth 32,000 ETH on a single laptop. So it will not be very resource or energy intensive. The target inflation rate of the Ethereum after the difficulty bomb in a few years makes Ethereum 1.0 stop working will be around 0 to 1%, and the inflation is not set as it is set in stone for Bitcoin. So maybe if Ethereum goes down too much, people can just put pressure on Vitalik Buterin and ask him to make some changes so that the number goes up. And the large amount of shards will help scaling, and the number of shards can be pretty insane in the future. So now I will mention a few opinions of mine. So initially when ETH launched, I have failed to find good value in Ethereum. I did not believe in the world computer story. I remember boarding flights, getting everything I could get my hands on online so that I can read offline, and I just couldn't find value. Bitcoin was already complex enough, and there were plenty of issues with Bitcoin, and Ethereum was just a whole new level of complexity, and there was not enough demand for Bitcoin, not to say about the Ethereum. I've been the Bitcoin maximalist for a long while, and I have been in this Bitcoin maximalist echo chamber for quite a while, and still BTC is better than Ethereum to me. It is safer, it is more censorship resistant, and what's important about crypto is censorship resistance in my view at the moment. However, fragile and uncertain Ethereum has some potential. It has these imperfect oracles which connect to the real world, but still overall they are rather good. They are certainly better than real world people making decisions. Also, that concept of proof of stake, of not competing with Bitcoin as a proof of work chain, it has some value. It's good that miners don't sell ETH for electricity. Proof of stake means that some validators will keep the rewards rather than selling them because they have no electricity bills to pay in US dollars or any other fiat currency. And small stakers are overall good because it reduces the concentration. However, I appreciate that there are plenty of people with large ETH balances, and there was a large pre-mine, and a lot of people have large balances in ETH. So ETH can take off in the future, and there could be demand in the future, but at the moment I don't see demand for ETH. I only see that as a token which has future value if it really succeeds. And I think ETH has a very good chance to succeed. There can be some rollbacks if something goes terribly wrong, And overall, I think it's a good project. Proof of stake is bad if you don't have Ethereum because it enriches the holders. However, if you have some ETH, you like the staking. Some people will like the appeal of ETH being environmentally friendly with no energy consuming mining. ETH 2.0 will be extremely complex, and it will have significant issues in the future. And it certainly will be delayed more than it has been delayed. You can see all these timelines. So the initial launch was supposed to be in 2019, so the beacon chain was supposed to start in 2019, and then sharded chains were supposed to be there in 2020, and then the execution layer, so the phase 3, was supposed to be in 2021. Now we can tell that the beacon chain will start in 2020 Q3, and then it will take more or less a year for the shard chains, and then maybe another year for the state execution. So what is important is that if you stake your ETH 2.0, you may not be able to transfer and sell it until like late 2021. I would think that if I stake any of the ETH, I would have to say goodbye to that ETH for at least half a year, maybe a year. So there will be some differences in decentralization model for Ethereum in comparison to the BTC. There will be a chance for the small stakers to take part in staking and voting and securing the chain. However, I appreciate that there is plenty of guys who have done large pre-mines, and it is possible that a large group could take control of Ethereum network because they have so much ETH that they can make malicious votes. So that is me finished. Essentially, I kind of like this whole concept. And I have been pretty negative about the Ethereum in the past, but now I'm getting warmer and warmer towards Ethereum. However, at the moment, there is pretty much not much demand for ETH. Like, it was good for ICOs. It is good now for the stable coins as a vector for movement of stable coins. But it will take a long while until Ethereum reaches some mainstream adoption. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please look at the links below, which will save you some money.